SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang tatalakay sa kapangyarihan ng serbisyo sibil. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang hihimay sa kapangyarihan ng pamalang lokal. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang maglalapit sa pamalan at mamamayan. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Kikilos ang barangay para sa bayan, edukasyon, kalusugan, trapiko, basura at iba pa. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Tatalakay sa mga problemang napapanahon, problemang hahanapan ng solusyon.
Muli sa magandang hapon mga kaibigan, welcome po sa ating SOS, serbisyo ora mismo sigurado. Layunin po natin na maiangat ang kaalaman ng ating mga kababayan sa katwiran at karapatan nationwide and worldwide. Si AJ Austria, ang ating technical director, si Angel Atienza, ang ating production head. Ako yung lingkod, si Johnny Gomez, mga kaibigan. Dito po sa ating Thursday 2 o'clock habit kasama ang IPAMS. Hinihintay ko lang si 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝘂𝗂𝗀𝗋ℎ, ang Senior Recruitment Manager ng IPAMS, ng ating Industrial Personnel and Management Services Incorporated. Oy, nakikita ko na. Nasisilip ko na si Ma'am Lala, uupo pa lang.
Hello!
Talaga. Ito, pakilala na natin, pati si Clive. Si Clive, ang aga, nakita ko na rin. Pero pabatiin muna natin si 𝗦𝗶𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗋ℎ, ang Senior Recruitment Manager ng ating Industrial Personnel and Management Services Incorporated o IPAMS.
Yes.
Kanina meron akong inisip na na intro para sa iyo pinagpapawisang hapon, Ma'am Lara.
Yes, oo, mga pinagpapawisang hapon sa lahat ng ating mga ka-Thursday 2 o'clock habit. At alam mo ba,
Okay.
may nakikita kong pogi sa screen.
O, tatagalog ba yan?
Hindi ko alam kaya tinatagalog ko muna kasi para hindi ako mapahiya.
Pero ngumingiti baka di natin ibenta.
Oo, baka mali mo di natin pwede ibenta. Oo, pwede ba ako sige. Oo, babati na ako, magandang hapon ulit. Salamat po sa lahat na nagfo-follow sa aming program every Thursday, mga ka-Thursday 2 o'clock habit. Siyempre, mapapanood niyo po kami dito sa Facebook Live ng IPAMS PH. Siyempre, meron din po tayo mga listeners sa Radyo Bandido 8:10 AM. Hindi tayo mawawala sa radyo. At hindi rin po tayo mawawala sa Sky Cable Channel, 229, 224?
224. Yes.
224. And then sa ating UHF channel, tayo rin po ay napapanood. Ayan. Nationwide daw, balita ko
And worldwide.
Worldwide. Kaya yung pogi natin kasama, ay mapapanood siya nationwide.
Okay. Maraming interesado dahil this is an opportunity, for us Filipinos. Ito, tatawid tayo ng New Zealand. Although marami na yata, Ma'am Lala, marami na kayong mga naging transaksyon at ito bahagi ng serbisyo publiko talaga ng IPAMS, Ang New Zealand is one of the countries na
Oo nga, maliban sa masarap ang keso dyan at saka siguro mas marami daw ang baka kaysa sa tao dyan. Kaya gusto nila magdagdag ng Pinoy sa New Zealand. Diba?
Ha? Tinatanong ko si Sir AJ, kaninong internet yung nagkakaroon ng trouble kasi medyo...
Ewan ko kung internet ba natin yan, Clarence? Mukhang hindi daw namin internet.
Mukhang dire-diretso naman tayo. Siguro pabatiin muna natin, total Ma'am Lala. Nasa kabilang linya na po ang Director for Sales and Marketing ng Sunway Global, si 𝗦𝗏𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗋℉. Sa akin daw ang mahina ang internet. Ano ba ito?
Oo, yata. Mukhang mahinang internet sa'yo. Why?
Baka
Huwag
hindi
mo
pa
ako
ako
iwanan
bayad.
sa ere, ha?
Hindi pa ako bayad. Alright, let us introduce Clive. Clive, good afternoon. It's 2:04 in the afternoon here in Manila. What's the time there in New Zealand, Clive?
It is, we are 4 hours ahead of you. It's 4 minutes past 6 in the evening.
All right, so within the working hours in New Zealand?
It's probably closed up shop for most people, but I'm going to make an exception to step out of my dinner time and talk to you guys.
All right, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Pleasure. Absolute
Very
pleasure.
Good. Clive,
by the way, I have
Yes.
to say, I didn't understand a word of what you were saying before. I'm sorry to say.
Don't worry. We will refrain from using Filipino this time. Okay.
Don't worry, Clive. We didn't say anything bad about you.
Oh, that's good. I heard my name a couple of times. I thought,
We're going to talk in Ilocano.
I know
one of the dialects here in the Philippines, Clive. But don't you worry. We will refrain from using Filipino for you to better understand us and our kababayans as well here and there in New Zealand. Ma'am Lala.
Yes, good afternoon, Clive, and we're very ecstatic to know because they had a holiday. I think that was last Tuesday, Clive.
Yes.
You had a holiday, and I was afraid of not hearing back from you if you can make it today. But I was very happy yesterday that finally you responded to become a part of this program for today because we have so many questions about New Zealand. And most of the Filipinos are going gaga over these opportunities in New Zealand. But I sent a list of questions, honestly.
Yes.
And
Yes,
I do hope you are also prepared to answer those questions.
Sure thing, absolutely. Hey, this is all about offering value and offering some information in New Zealand to all of your audience and all of the Filipino people that are listening. So I will try and slow down my speech somewhat.
Okay.
So please stop me if I'm going too fast for anyone. But hey, it's a great opportunity, isn't it? It's a great opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to telling you a little bit more about New Zealand and what the employer is looking for.
Yeah.
And let's see where that takes us.
Yes,
All right.
and of course my number one question is tell us more about this Sunway Global. When did you actually started this business? And my number two question would be, as I've checked your website, why do you focus on hiring Filipino workers only for New Zealand?
Okay, great questions. Thank you. Well, firstly, my previous business, I was the CEO of a large industrial painting company. Okay. And we started that business from scratch. And what happened in 2012 is we won a fairly significant contract with a large utility. And that actually started our journey on Filipino workers. And what happened from there is we ended up employing a number of linemen from a lineman skill set, Filipino. And what we understood, we started to learn the Philippine culture, very hardworking ethic, very loyal, great teammates. The Filipino worker for me supplies an uplift in culture for the business. So they work alongside our Kiwi teammates, and they're a pleasure to work alongside. They're a pleasure to work under you and around you. And they really are an uplift in productivity and culture. And that started my journey into Filipino culture and workers. And I basically built a company halfway around Filipino workers. They were so good. They just did great for the clients at the other end of my clients and my business. And what happened in COVID times, I decided that after 20 years of running that business, hey, I wanted a little break. I sold my company, and I swore to myself that the next company that I build and start is going to be based around Filipinos and Filipino workers. Because I really see the huge benefit that they provide, not only to the company in terms of work, but also to their company staff and their teammates. And that's how Sunway Global was born. So essentially, Sunway Global is an international or foreign recruitment agency. Okay. I'm currently based in Auckland, New Zealand, and I'm currently recruiting for a number of companies in New Zealand, and for mainly Filipino workers, because of the proudness I have, also for the trust that I know that they're very good for the New Zealand business. And to take it further, the Philippine work ethic here in New Zealand is highly regarded. So I think anyone coming from the Philippines into New Zealand now, you've got a lot of boots to fill and live up to. But you're starting off with a very well-respected bunch of people from the Philippines coming to New Zealand. So full credit to all of you out there. Please maintain that.
Thank you very much. We're very happy to know that, of course, the business that you built is to bring Filipinos to work in New Zealand. And Johnny, do you plan on going to New Zealand? I want to go to New Zealand and buy cheese and go to the spots where, you know, where the Lord of the Rings shot their movies.
should I give my email address to Clive for the invitation?
You should. I'll pick you up from the airport and we'll go do a little bit of tourism. Yeah.
But firstly, Clive, I really would want to thank you for those kind words. The spirit of the Filipino community is somewhat, you know, we are very overwhelmed with those kind words. And how many overseas Filipino workers, OFWs, have you processed and right now working in the different companies of New Zealand through Sunway?
Okay, well, Sunway has only been established for approximately 8 months, very new. Okay. And we're on, we have, I think, in the pipeline around 95 applications, lodgements, and we have approximately 60, maybe 70 already deployed to New Zealand and arrived. And we probably have somewhere between 50 and 150 vacancies coming our way in the next 2 to 3 months, which will it takes time, as you know, Johnny. It takes a little bit of a process. So yeah, you know, from sort of 3 to 6 months turnaround from when we receive the job order, if you like, from our clients, is when we can start. You know, we start seeing people, you know, having the full benefit and arriving in New Zealand. I guess one touch point, we'll talk mostly about New Zealand today, but just something to add in is that we've just opened up in Australia. And half of my calls today were with Australian companies.
Wow. We look forward to that one.
It's
Australia,
exciting.
Here we come.
It could be quite exciting for Australia. So I think Australia and New Zealand are a great market for Filipinos. Both of them are great countries to live in, right? So here's to the future is going to be bright.
Wow.
Ma'am Lala and Clive, based from my readings of New Zealand, the percentage of the population and the land area is quite there are many opportunities, I should say, no, depending on the sector, depending on what those companies are offering. But again, from what I read, there really are a bunch of numbers of opportunities waiting for Filipinos. Is that correct, Clive?
Yes. Yes, it is correct. There is a skill shortage in New Zealand. New Zealand has approximately 5 million people spread across 2 islands, as most of you are aware. And it's funny, the market, it's hard to talk economics because inflation, and there has been a little bit of a strain on some industries and some companies across the world currently, right? We're in a bit of a downturn. But in saying that, the trend is that you cannot get enough skill set in New Zealand, particularly from infrastructure, you know, civil companies, utilities space, those kind of nursing, healthcare. Those kind of industries are really hanging out for staff. Now, whether they get them from the Philippines or they get them from wherever they get them from, the Philippines is a pretty high up choice because they know they're going to get that good work ethic, you know, that reliable worker and a good honest day's work out of them, which is really cool. So I think you're right, Johnny. I think there's great opportunity here. Whether that opportunity tails off a little bit towards the end of the year, it's hard to say. But what I'm finding is companies that are still hanging out for really good skills. And it's really just explaining that cycle of the recruitment coming from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And if this helps, it probably, hopefully it does, but it's just really that whole exit clearance process, you know, with DMW and POEA DMW, that my end is explaining to my customers and just getting them across the line with that. And once they've got their self across the line with that process, it makes it a lot easier for us to really recruit heavily from the Philippines into New Zealand.
Wow! Yes, yes. And you know what? Yeah, you know what, Johnny? We've been actually deploying workers under Sunway Global for their different clients, of course, in New Zealand. Well, which makes me go to my next question, Clive. Okay, so you mentioned that you have different clients in New Zealand. So how is your arrangement with these clients? Let's say you spoke with one client, they ask you to hire Filipinos. Are the Filipinos who's going to be employed, who's going to be selected by Sunway Philippines, will they be employed directly by your clients in New Zealand?
That's great question. Yes. So we act really as the middle agent, the middleman, or we act as the recruitment agency, sort of semi in partnership with IPAMS, which we're very proud of. And essentially what we do is we facilitate the client's requirements. So I would meet a client. They would say we're looking for 10 scaffolders, 10 painters, whatever the case may be. We then sign an agreement with them. It's called a recruitment agreement. And then what we do is take them through the process. And probably worthwhile, would you like me to let you know about the interview process and things like that? Does that help?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Go ahead.
When you say, for example, IPAMS provided you with applicants, suitable applicants, endorsed to you under Sunway. So what is the arrangement between you and the employer? Will they be interviewed directly by the employer? Is the employer going to select them, and then at the same time you'll pass them on to IPAMS for processing?
Yes, very, very similar to that. As we completely learn our clients' requirements, the first stage interview may get a hit rate of say 5 out of 10, for example, that the client really likes. But it's down to IPAMS and ourselves, our good pre-selection process, and understanding what our clients' needs are. So what happens is, you're right, it's a great partnership that we have here. We then send the CVs off to our client or clients. And typically I would expect any CV that we send to our clients that we are likely to get an interview. Okay. And the interview is the real fun part. It's really kind of relaxed and it's enjoyable. And our team together with IPAMS, we sort of hold your hand along the way. Typically we interview in anything from say 5 to 10 to 15 people, depends on the size of the roles. That the New Zealand client will give an introduction on their company. And then what we do is we interview each person one-on-one, FaceTime directly with the customer, with the client. And the client is there with their line manager, with their human resources manager, whatever the case may be. And it's a great time for, you as the candidate to just be calm and engage and ask questions. One thing I have to say is a tip for you guys out there when you're doing interviews is, hey, don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid about your English. Don't be afraid. You need to demonstrate your English in 99% of the cases. So just do your best with it and think about questions about New Zealand. Think about, hey, what's it like in New Zealand? Will I be close to? Will I be staying close to work? And can you give me an example of my days? What would make up my day at my work? Are there any beaches nearby or something funny like that? Do you get what I mean? Because New Zealand customers, clients, they're just like we are now. We want to have chat. They want to get to know you genuinely. And if you're attempting to do your best with your English and ask questions away even from the job about New Zealand, everyone likes to talk about their home environment, right? So just a couple of tips there. From that interview process, it then goes to job offer. So that's where we step in and say, look, you know, that guy Johnny was really good. I recommend, you know, what do you think of him? Yes, he's good. We go to job offer. And at job offer, that's when IPAMS and our sales slips back into gear and we start, you know, really processing that exit clearance, which I'm sure you can explain better than me. The medicals and the police checks and things like that. So it's a process, isn't it? It's probably what I say. It's a process. You just got to enjoy it and you've got to relax with it and you've got to trust who you're dealing with. And IPAMS is one of the best in the game from what I can see. And you just gotta, you know, they've got great communication. Our team, we've got a small team in the Philippines in which we try to pride ourselves on keeping you guys up to date because that's important, right? But yeah, just trust the process and all of a sudden you're going to be in New Zealand, a new life and a new career.
Exactly.
Ma'am Lala and Clive, no, just for the benefit of the listening and the viewing public, what's the typical timeline? Once the applicants finished all the interviews and received the job offers, meaning IPAMS will take over for the processing of the documentary requirements, is that correct? And once these documents are finished and submitted, normally, how many weeks or months will it take for the applicants to fly to New Zealand?
Yeah, that question can't be answered with a definite, finite answer, and there's a good reason. There's a good reason for it. I'll tell you the main things that hold things up is the medical. So everyone that comes into New Zealand is required to do a medical. And what happens with Sunway and IPAMS is we send the relevant candidates who have the job offer. So you've got your job offer at this stage. You go to a medical clinic and that medical clinic is linked directly with Immigration New Zealand. So the medical goes straight to Immigration New Zealand. Now, the processing time, again, Immigration New Zealand can't give you a guarantee. But if your medical comes back clear with no issues, I believe that once you have the job offer and you have medical clearance, I think your time can be as quick as 4 weeks to 8 weeks. Would you agree? 4 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
But you just have to bear in mind if there is a slight question with medical, and it might just be, hey, you've got high blood pressure, we just need to check this out further. It might not be anything to worry about, but it just may add another month or another 2 months onto the process. So you just have to be prepared. And one good thought process is if you do have a permanent job and you have a job offer from New Zealand, from our point of view and from IPAM's point of view, we are probably the best person to instruct you when to hand your notice in, because we can be fair and reasonable, and then you guys are not caught short. You know, handing a notice and you got this job offer and you think, shit, you'll be out of there in 4 to 6 weeks. Actually, it might actually be 3 months. So you've got to prepare yourself for potential delays. Would that be fair?
Yes, honestly, that is correct. Actually, Johnny and Clive, we always advise our applicants, of course, number one, to take care of their health if they are really into overseas employment, if they have plans. And of course, number two would be, don't leave, in as much as possible, don't leave their jobs while if they've given a job offer, don't resign yet, because there is no guarantee yet if you'll pass the medical examination.
And the timing.
Yes, at the same time, most of our candidates, they are relying on the advice of our processing team that is actually led by Roselle in our team. They are the ones who's going to advise if the candidates has to, file a resignation, But of course, sometimes it's the other way around. When we recruit applicants, we also ask them if they have a notice period when they render the resignation, and we have to inform, of course, the employer as well on that one to be able for us to make some series of adjustments as well. But yes, correct. Sometimes the delay, Johnny, is more on the medical examination. Because the timeline of getting the work permit, having it stamped, and the OE, the overseas exit clearance, they have a timeline. But sometimes that's the stumbling block, the medical examination.
That's right. That's right. But the good thing is, once you submit your results, it goes directly to New Zealand Immigration for proper documentation. Meaning, once the results comes back, there will be notations from New Zealand directly. Is that correct?
Sorry, can you repeat that last bit?
Once the results comes back from New Zealand, the applicant would be able to understand what the findings are.
Oh, yes. I believe that the applicant gets a copy of the medical. Yes. So one thing that is hard to manage from our point of view, and we have no control over this, is a direct line of communication with Immigration New Zealand. And sometimes it is very frustrating for the candidate, for you guys, and for us, because we genuinely are trying our best, but Immigration New Zealand, you can't pick up the phone and say, look, Johnny Gomez, where's his application? Can you please give me a rundown on why we haven't had it approved? Do you know what I mean? So just bear that in mind, guys, that I think IPAMS and ourselves as in our position try to do as much as we can, but Immigration New Zealand is a whole different beast. And they are separate, obviously, from the client too, you know what I mean? So the clients kind of can't get much information out of them either. So I'm not discounting Immigration New Zealand. They're doing a great job. It's just, these are the things that happen. And it's hard to give you guys who's it going to happen to and who isn't. Probably a reasonable ratio to consider would be, say, maybe 1 in 10 applicants that go through this process might have a delay. So, it's not everyone. It's just the odd person that might just get that delay. And probably out of those 1 people that get that delay, guess what? They still get to go to New Zealand. It's just a couple of months later. So typically it's a good result.
Yes. So in this case, it's being patient. That's right.
That's right.
Yes.
There are a few more questions coming from Lala Clive, but
I think we have so many. We have live comments already.
Coming from our viewers, they are very much interested in the discussion. But first, I would like to read the comment of Ronald Roja Abatayo. Thank you, IPAMS. They are already in Quebec. Congratulations to this bunch of Filipinos. Now, coming from Jefferson Chuwambalaya, do you have any openings for electricians in New Zealand, Clive?
Not at the present moment. However, I just come off a call and they're looking for underground electricians in Perth in Australia. So
I think that's what you call linesman, right?
Well, no, they're not actually linesmen in this case, but they're actually more industrial sort of heavyweight electricians. Again, that's a CV that we can market out to our clients. So, a job like that could come in tomorrow, for example. You know how it goes. Recruitment.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Thank you for that inquiry.
Okay.
Yes, and they also have this question here, and I'd just like to read the comment of Mr. Ronald Roja Abatayo. He said in Tagalog, but I'll translate it in English. He's now giving tips on how to pass the interview, and he's very thankful about it live. See, our listeners, they give good comments, and then of course, while reading some comments, I'd like to ask this question about if I'm going to be hired in New Zealand as a Filipino, what do you think will be the benefits that we will be enjoying? At the same time, will there be an opportunity for a Filipino to become a permanent resident and bring their family with them?
Yes. The current New Zealand visa offering is 36 months, 3 years.
3 years.
And that is a renewable visa depending on your employer thereafter. In the past, there has been what they call a work to residence visa, which was awesome. And that's how I brought most of my previous Filipino company members over on. And most of those have brought their families and have got now permanent residency. Now, Immigration New Zealand are a moving target, and they do change their attitude and their policy. So at this stage, I don't know the exact answer to that, but New Zealand employers are very accommodating in the main to help and to coordinate bringing your families with you. I think that's awesome. And I think the New Zealand general attitude is, if you've got a worker coming in from overseas, they would like to see your family come shortly thereafter. It really, I don't have enough expertise to answer that question, but what I can say is, when you do arrive in New Zealand, get some really strong immigration solicitor advice, and we do have partners here that we work with. Do you know what I mean? I can't say anything more than that, but it does pay to put some budget aside, if you like, or some money aside, and talk to some really cool lawyers here in New Zealand to help you with that process moving forward.
Yes, because I think, Johnny, since last year, they've been series of changes when it comes to application of their work permits and chance for the permanent residency. But, Clive, these are always the questions that we receive every time we entertain applicants. Okay, I'd like to bring my family to New Zealand. How long do you think that can be processed? And we've been telling them the same thing. We are unsure, because of this series of changes from the government. But definitely you have to stay there for at least 3 years and fulfill your contract, and make sure to have good records with the police, with the community.
Records,
yes, because that will be a plus factor for them in case there will be changes.
And keep a close eye on just changes that happen, because immigration, as we say, could change tomorrow and say anyone on a 3-year visa, you've now got the right to pathway to residency, your right to know and understand your documentation process, and also to prove your relationship and your family process. These are good things to think about. Keep paperwork detailed. Keep your pay slips, keep all your communication. That's something that you just may need down the track.
I see.
Okay. There is another comment here from 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Tagalogin ko muna, Ma'am Lala, tapos translate natin ng English.
Yes.
Ang sabi niya, maganda talaga ang New Zealand. Diyan talaga pangarap ko makapunta. Kaso mahina ako sa English, pero magaling ako pagdating sa trabaho. What Nino is saying, Clive, is New Zealand is a very, very beautiful country. And he is really hoping to land a job in New Zealand. In fact, it is his dream country, probably his second home. But he lacks the English communication skills, but he is very good in his line of work. Any tip, Clive, that you would like to relay to, who's this, Nino?
𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀.
Nino, you know what? That question and that opening would be a perfect opening at interview, to say how beautiful you believe New Zealand is and that you'd like it to make your home. So full credit to you. I was going to say this before, and he's actually raised or it might be a she, sorry, has raised a very important question. Guys and girls, if you really want to come to New Zealand and your English is substandard, you really, really want to go out of your way and get some English language training in the Philippines and really make a go of it, because that is going to make you at interview. That is really going to clinch you across the board. So my answer is simple. Put some groundwork in, do night school, do whatever it takes to get your language better and feel more confident. And that is your answer. And your time frame for that could be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. But guess what? You'll get the benefit out of it, because when it does come to interview, you can joke, you can laugh, you can have a nice chat, and you can try your English. And if you are doing that regularly at home, you know, really make an effort, because you'll put yourself at the top of the interview list. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So guys, from my point of view, you know, I see great candidates coming through, and I know when I see interviews, I know that particular person is actually very skilled and very good. And if it was my company, I'd probably take them on. But if you appreciate, or if you understand where the client fits, the client says to me, we want a skill set in whatever skill set, they need to speak English, you know. So
yes, I agree.
They are tolerable on their English. So you just have to speak and just have a reasonably good understanding. The way that we are speaking English here is of high standard, okay, guys and girls? So don't worry about trying to get to this level. But if you can get to hi, my name is Clive, I've heard a lot about New Zealand, I would love the opportunity to, you know, to work there. I will try my best in my English. However, please bear with me, you know, to answer some of your questions. Something like that. Do you get what I mean? Because it sets a nice tone, and they go, wow, that person's really nice, you know?
Yes,
they're really trying. So hopefully that helps and answer the question.
Well, you know, Johnny and Clive, it's timely that, because by the next hour, we're going to have someone. You, all the listeners there, I'm going to speak in Tagalog. Standby lang kayo. Maganda yung tip ni Clive na dapat mag-aaral tayo ng basic English, because dito rin sa IPAMS, when we do the interviews, we ask you to speak in English, not necessarily na parang college level, but the fact na we would make sure that we will understand yung sagot ninyo. As long as kaya nyong i-explain yung trabaho ninyo in English. Minsan nga, ang joke namin, Johnny, is even though you speak like, you know, a caveman, while talking in English, as long as we can understand the logic of your answers, that would hit the mark. And then once you have proven that you can speak English fairly well, and while waiting for the interview schedule with the employer, at least they will have time to practice. That's what we always tell them. Well, sa mga aplikante kasi, it's not about, wag niyo na po akong Englishin. Kaya ko naman po yung trabaho niyan. Subukan niyo ako. It's not about like that. You know, those are the usual dialogues, Clive. They would say, I cannot speak English, but if I'll have a chance to demonstrate my job, I can do it. But then again, Clive is right. They have to at least fairly speak in English, which later on, I think Erwin of 9.09ers will give
at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. Clive, you know, they've been asking questions if you have future opportunities for airport operations, as well as for nursing assistants and caregivers. You know, it looks like they would like to go to New Zealand.
Yes. Well, nursing particularly, and caregivers is a huge opportunity. And with nursing, you know, you do need to have those strong English skills for that one.
Yes.
But you know, these opportunities are coming about all the time, and they're if we don't have them, someone else is going to have them. So they're definitely here in New Zealand. So keep trying.
Yes. Yeah. For those who are asking what are our latest job opportunities under Sunway Global, of course we've been swamped Clive, with applicants for truck mechanics already. I will no longer announce that.
Okay.
We are still reviewing those who applied this week, as well as for this, what's this other one, the position. But we still have opportunities for carpet layer technicians. Can you please show that, Clarence? I hope we can show that on screen. This is our opportunity for New Zealand under Sunway. We're going to share that. So if you can see that on the screen, we are still looking for floor finishers, carpet installers. This is for Sunway, of course, for their client in New Zealand. We are still entertaining applications. The ones that are the candidate qualification here is that if you know how to install a rolling carpet, that would be one. Okay, but you know, some Filipinos, they have a mixture of carpet rolling installation plus the ones that are already, you know, in like the square ones.
Oh, like tiles.
Yeah. And sometimes tiles.
Yes.
So, but if you have, if you work overseas before, that has been heavily using carpets, like, you know, in Saudi Arabia or in the Middle East country. If you want to go to New Zealand, well, this is the best opportunity for you. And I don't have the picture, but we're also looking for for directional drilling operators. So if there are listeners who are actually in direction, I think that's directional drilling operators. We are also looking for candidates like this. I think bulldozer excavator operators, we're also looking for them. Yeah, we're looking for excavator operators. We have so many applicants this week about that one, Clive. Hopefully, our recruiter can send you suitable profiles by next week, because there are so many applicants who would like to go either in Canada or New Zealand. But we have to... But, you know, they identify their choices. No, I want to go to New Zealand. I don't want a cold country. Okay, New Zealand that is.
Ma'am Lala, for those watching us in Sky Cable and in our official YouTube and Facebook channels, please take a picture of the information presented to you, because these are complete information from the qualifications to whatever requirements. So by the time you are doing your CVs, you would be able to fill in everything. The requirements that Clive will be looking for and the IPAMs will be looking for from your CVs.
Yes, and if you could flash, Clarence, how they should be applying through IPAMs. We have this 4 ways and more, because I read the comment here asking about how
ayaw mo nang sabihin, ha?
Yeah, how they should be applying. But do I have to say it in English, Johnny?
Mamaya siguro, mamaya.
Yeah, but I'll just quickly flash the screen.
Go ahead.
Just to answer the inquiry, I think I've read that inquiry from Mr. Nino Naval. Okay, Nino Naval. I'm doing you a favor na because you asked, ma'am, favor lang po. Okay, so Nino, I hope you are seeing the screen right now. We are flashing the 4 ways and more. Yeah, the 4 ways on how you're going to apply for job opportunities for New Zealand. Of course, you can read it from the screen. We have walk-in applications every Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. to submit your applications. And of course, for you to be interviewed. And hopefully, if you're qualified, we can submit you to Sunway Global. We also posted the job opportunities for New Zealand to our Facebook, to our official website. That's www.ipams.com. Under the job seekers page, just seek the country New Zealand. Of course, you can also download our official mobile app through your Android and iPhones or your tablets. You can also submit your applications. If you intend to apply for New Zealand, we have a specific email for that one. So that's nz@ipams.com. Just put in your subject your full name / Sunway Global if you plan to apply for any of the job opportunities I've mentioned for New Zealand.
Okay. Meron tanong si Ashley Burgos. Good day, ma'am. May opening po ba para sa mga girls? Kasi puro male lang po ang kinukuha for New Zealand. Clive, our viewer is asking if there is an opportunity for female applicants also.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's 3 yeses. Huh?
So many yes.
3 yeses for New Zealand's Got Talent.
That's that. In fact, it'll be an absolute pleasure, particularly if you're in a trade or a skill of that nature. That would be amazing to find a female skilled trade person.
Well,
Yeah.
Clive, I think you need to inform your clients that they can get female welders from the Philippines, and
Can they?
we're happy to send female welders for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That'd be fantastic.
Yes, because we've been encountering female welders already. They've been trained by the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA. TESDA has already been training female welders, and we deployed female welders to Canada. So let's do it also in New Zealand.
That's great. It's a great opportunity. Just on the new job front, which is exciting, hot off the press. Well, you've motivated me here. Are they called street plumbers in the Philippines? We're looking for drainage people with drainage background. I think Blinky might have referred to them as street plumbers. Does that make sense? Or underground plumbers. We're looking for those type of skill sets currently. Just came in today, and also people who have got CCTV experience in regards to drainage and pipe work. If it makes sense to anyone, we'll give you a full job description shortly.
Yes,
we're looking for at least 20 of those type of people.
Wow.
Guys. Yeah.
I think Blinky sent a list of your job opportunities for New Zealand.
Okay.
Don't worry, Clive, we're going to advertise it also on our official Facebook page. We have 1.3 million likers and followers. I guess we will be bombarded with so many inquiries.
Just a fraction of the 1.3 million is more than enough, I think.
Yes, of course. Okay, just to announce, this is hot off the press, as Clive mentioned. According to Blinky's email, they are looking for roofer fabricators. So mga listeners dyan, maglista na. For those who are watching us on Facebook Live, list this down. These are the opportunities under Sunway Global in New Zealand. They're looking for roofer fabricators. Of course, I've mentioned the carpet layers already. They're also looking for general carpenters. They're also looking for civil drain layers. I think operators or technicians. They're also looking for drillers. So Clive, what type of driller is this? Is someone working from the oil and gas will do?
No, it's not quite that drilling. It's actually more horizontal drilling. So
horizontal drilling.
It's drilling underneath, say, a roadway.
Oh, I see.
And putting in a pipe work. So it's an Auckland-based company. And if you've got any experience in sort of that drilling, it's called horizontal drilling.
Wow,
that'll be fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, so another one, of course, I've mentioned the excavator operators already, and I believe Blinky mentioned that there will be a series of actual tests for them to operate an excavator.
That's correct.
This one. So it means to say, sa lahat na nakikinig na applicant, kung excavator operator ka, dapat talagang excavator operator ka at kaya mo mag-operate. I've also seen here you're looking for more pipe fitters, and then you're also looking for truck drivers. I believe these are truck drivers, right?
Truck drivers, yeah. Those that drive around Auckland, delivering metal, delivering machinery on trucks. So yeah, really good truck driving experience.
Yes. Are we talking about the articulated truck drivers, the ones that has, they have to attach a big cargo
like a container?
Cargo container, yes?
No, not actually a container as such. They would actually be in a truck where it might have a digger on the back of the truck.
Digger.
It might be a truck where they load metal and sand into the truck and go from one location to the next, if that helps. That type of truck driving is what we're looking for there. Yeah.
Okay. They're also looking, according to Blinky here, they're also looking for car service advisors and car service technicians, or the automotive technicians. And also this one, we have so many inquiries about sales. So they are looking for part sales consultant. So that's the latest opportunity. Yeah.
That's with a Mitsubishi Motors dealership, actually. So if anyone has experience with Mitsubishi Motors in
Mitsubishi, okay.
Yeah, Mitsubishi in the Philippines, that will be a very, very relevant skill set to offer that customer. They are a new and existing vehicle sales business where they do servicing of Mitsubishi Motors. So yeah, a very good position.
Wow. Okay. So, so to those listeners and watchers, I hope you have listed down everything. But of course, they can watch the replay of this program if in case they were not able to make it to the 2 p.m. They can still watch this replay. They can watch this replay over and over again, and then listen to Clive's tips on how to.
I'm sure they'll be bored after that. I'll be bored. Don't worry.
Ninyo saying thank you, Clive. He's now preparing his resume for submission to IPAMS.
Awesome. Great.
Who's this? May asking for opportunities for female caregiver. And ito, Ma'am Lala, Mark Anthony Abreu.
Oh. What is it?
Meron siyang malaki yung kumpanyang pinanggalingan niya at he has an experience as tile setter and as a carpenter. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Meron na tayong mga live applicants.
Wow. You see, Clive, we have live inquiries already for New Zealand. Wow.
Hindi, baka kasi pinapatanong lang.
I think they were just trying us to ask that question to Clive because, of course, it means to say they are listening and they are waiting for comments from Clive about this one. Well, we're very happy that they've been dropping their questions.
That's right.
And in case we cannot read your questions, don't worry, we'll send them over. And then if we have answers to that one, that will be we will be sharing it to you.
Yes.
Well, welders, they're also willing to apply welders, according to Jenny Tejano. Oh, that's female applicant now,
Very
Clive.
Awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yes. You see, they have so many questions already. Okay, should I give my last questions? It's because time check is 2:51 in the afternoon.
Sure. Last questions, one each. Go ahead, Ma'am Lala.
Yes. Of course, you've already shared tips on how they should be acing their interview if they plan to apply for New Zealand. Do you still have other tips? And what will be your last words that you can share in this program today?
Yeah, I think keep trying. I just have to reinforce, practice your English and practice your English. Practice your English. Ask. Come prepared with questions, okay? We've kind of covered this off, but hey, write down questions before the interview and don't just think about the questions on the job. Think about New Zealand. What's going to change in my life when I get there? Ask them those kind of touching questions. You know, it's like if I'm coming to live in the Philippines, I'm thinking, well, you know, how does it work over there? What's the supermarket like? You know, I mean, they might be kind of dumb questions, but they actually will give you engagement. And, you know, I've heard about the nice beaches in New Zealand. How far away is the closest beach, for example? I mean,
actually, that would be my final question.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That will be my final question.
Yeah.
Because, Clive, many are curious. For example, I myself, I have very little knowledge of New Zealand. But from what I read, New Zealand is a super advanced country. But from the photos that we are seeing from, let's say, Google and everything, New Zealand has a picturesque landscape.
Yeah.
You are into dairy. Your agriculture is very, very remarkable. But what is the working condition? What are we to expect from New Zealand once Filipinos go there for job opportunities?
Excellent. The way that you even built up to that question was good because you've done some research on New Zealand and you're describing it back to me. And I'm just thinking from the employer's point of view of what you just said gives me a sense of you've actually done some homework on New Zealand. So from which is just another tip, by the way, to ask and when you're in an interview, but the working condition here is very, very good. There is no bullying. There, there is no discrepancy between you're a Filipino and you're a New Zealander, if that makes sense. You should be treated the same way as everyone else in New Zealand. And that's the respect that I would expect all New Zealanders to provide to you. And I think you're coming in at quite a good rate in terms of hourly rate because of the visa situation. It should be an opportunity for you to strive ahead. So you're going to get a 40-hour-a-week guarantee of hours. Typically, most employers work, 5 or 6 days a week. So there's opportunity to work longer hours. And you should be looked after just like your co-workers are. And if you're not, you can let us know because we'll come down pretty hard. But, the benefits are good. I think you should come into New Zealand and you should feel, wanted and cared for. And have an appreciation that you're a human just as much as everyone else. If that makes sense, I don't mean to try and degrade anyone. I'm just saying you should be expecting a very similar platform to the local New Zealander. Benefits vary from company to company, but the true reality is that your pay rate's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of $29.66 per hour plus on New Zealand dollars. And depending on what skill set you're coming in on, it could be greater. New Zealand companies want to keep hold of their staff. So if you do show, your true respects and goodness of work ethic, then you no doubt will go through a review process quickly, and then your pay rate will go up, and you know what I mean?
Yes. So it's a matter of being good in the job, and demonstrate your skills, not just limited. Then they can review your qualifications and perhaps give you a higher pay. That's what
I think so. That's the typical New Zealand company would be very pleased to keep reviewing and putting your rate up accordingly. It just depends on the employer. Everyone's different, right? But
yes, of course.
I think everyone that comes to New Zealand, and I'm sure lots of people have colleagues and family members and friends that have come to New Zealand, another good piece of advice is to call them. Call them and say, hey, what's a good question to ask a New Zealand employer? What's something you learned in New Zealand that you can share with me? Because I remember a couple of interviews, the client asked the candidate, what do you know about New Zealand? And they said, we don't know nothing about New Zealand. I think you guys should do some homework on New Zealand and at least have some, we heard there's a lot of sheep there. And kind of what Johnny said before, he said, look, I understand you have beautiful landscape and you've got lovely beaches. I mean, that kind of thing is awesome to hear. And it just gets you above everyone else at that interview stage, that you're interested in New Zealand. Not just a job, you're actually interested in coming and making a life. I really want to live in New Zealand long term. You know what I mean? I'm putting words into your mouth, but this is music to clients' ears. Showing how keen you are to actually come to New Zealand is a good thing.
Wow! So you've heard the tips already, listeners. And thank you very much, Clive. That was a very, very fruitful. When I say it in Tagalog, malaman na malaman. It tastes like adobo. Malaman na malaman tastes like adobo. Answers and tips from Mr. 𝗦𝗿-𝗂𝗍𝗂, of course, the Director of Sales and Marketing from Sunway Global. Thank you very much, Clive, for the opportunity in giving us, a bit. I think it's not just a bit, it's more about New Zealand and what will be in store for Filipino applicants who would like to, work and stay in New Zealand.
Great. Well, thank you for the opportunity, and I wish everyone good luck and have a lovely evening and afternoon.
All right.
Have a lovely evening there, Clive. Thank you
so much. You can now enjoy your dinner.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kilala si 𝗦𝗿-𝗂𝗍𝗂, Director for Sales and Marketing ng Sunway Global, ang aming nakasama. Sandali dun sa mga nag-aabang ng 9.09er meron po muna tayong dalawang bit-bit na balita ng ating mga kabandido.
Yes.
Unahin ko lang, Ma'am Lala, mula kay Chris Lucas. Chris, magandang hapon sa iyo. Please come in.
Formal nang tinapos ng Komisyon sa Wikang Pilipino ang buwan ng Panitikan 2023 sa pamamagitan ng Araw ng Parangal, kung saan pinarangalan ang mga natatanging individual na nagpamalas ng kanilang talento at talino sa larangan ng panitikan. Matatandaan na pinasimulan ang buwan ng Panitikan 2023 sa pamamagitan ng pag-aalay ng bulaklak sa mga monumento ni Francisco 𝗦𝗶𝗂𝗂𝗪 noong nakaraang 2 ng Abril ngayong taon. Matapos ito ay nagsagawa ang komisyon ng mga patimpalak kaugnay sa pagpapayaman pa ng ating panitikan, gaya ng Makata ng Taon, Dangal ng Panitikan at Tulang Senyas. Nagsagawa rin ang komisyon ng book fair at mga serye ng webinar kung saan tinatalakay ang pagsisiyasat sa wika at panitikan. Ayon kay Arthur Casanova, punong tagapamahala ng Komisyon sa Wikang Pilipino, mahalaga ang araw na ito dahil binibigang pagkilala ang mga individual na nagtataguyod ng panitikang Pilipino.
Ang araw na ito po ay pagtatampok sa mga nagwagi sa tatlong mahalagang patimpalak ng Komisyon sa Wikang Pilipino. Dalawa po sa tatlong patimpalak na ito ay mga tradisyonal na mga patimpalak. Partikular na po ang Makata ng Taon na matagal na pong ibinibigay ng Komisyon sa Wikang Pilipino. Ito ay patimpalak sa pagsulat ng tula at talaga pong ang patimpalak na ito ay talagang marangal na marangal dahil marami po sa mga nagulit ito ay talagang mga profesional na mga Makata. Ang ikalawa pa po ay yung naging tradisyon na rin po ng Komisyon sa Wikang Pilipino simula noong panahon ng dating tagapangulo at siyempre po ipinagpatuloy ko nung ako'y umupo bilang tagapangulo noong taong 2020. Ito po yung Dangal ng Panitikan. Ito po ang gawad parangal na ibinibigay po sa mga panitikero na may mahalagang hambag po sa larang ng panitikan.
Ngayong taon ay ginawaran ng parangal sina Dennis Roniel Balan bilang unang gantipala sa Tulang Senyas, si 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗂𝗪 bilang Makata ng Taon at si Suset Severo Doctolero bilang awardee ng Dangal ng Panitikan 2023. Ako, si Chris Lucas nag-uulat para sa DZRJ 8 AM ang Radyo Bandido TV.
Alright, salamat po ng maigi at marami si Chris Lucas, mga kaibigan. Magpapahinga lang kami. Sandali lang. Jong, standby ka lang ha. Babalikan natin mga kaibigan ang ating Thursday 2 o'clock habit kasama ang 𝗦𝗶𝗂𝗪𝗂 in just a very short while.
Be enlightened with inspiring stories. Interesting biblical features. And insightful interviews with the pillars of our Catholic faith. Power to unite with Elvira.
SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang tatalakay sa kapangyarihan ng serbisyo sibil. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang hihimay sa kapangyarihan ng pamalang lokal. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang maglalapit sa pamalan at mamamayan. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Kikilos ang barangay para sa bayan, edukasyon, kalusugan, trapiko, basura at iba pa. SOS, serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Tatalakay sa mga problemang napapanahon, problemang hahanapan ng solusyon.
Uli isang magandang hapon mga kaibigan, ikalawang oras ng ating SOS, serbisyo ora mismo sigurado, dito po sa ating Thursday 2 o'clock habit kasama ang 𝗦𝗶𝗂𝗪. Si Ma'am Lala Macaranas, babati kasi bitin na bitin yung pagbati niya kanina, after which, Jong, sandali lang. dahil yung ating mga kababayan hinihintay yung training at yung tips na ibinibigay ng ating 9.09er. Pero
Swak na swak sa tip ni Clive kanina ito, Johnny.
Bubati ka muna uli. Bitin ka kanina.
Bubati daw muna ulit ako. So, second hour na po natin, mga ka-Thursday 2 o'clock habit. So, sa mga nasa 3 o'clock pa lang, sa susunod, mag-join na po kayo ng 2 p.m. every Thursday dito sa ating SOS, Serbisyo, Ora Mismo, Sigurado, Trabaho Thursday. Ayan. So, napapanood nyo rin po kami syempre sa aming official Facebook Live sa 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝘂𝗊, sa YouTube din ng 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗂𝗊 at syempre sa official Facebook page ng Radio Bandido at sa kanilang official YouTube page. Syempre, mapapanood din tayo live sa UHF channel. Ano ba to? 29 ba to? UHF channel natin. Oo, sa free channel. At napapanood din po tayo sa Sky Cable 224 ba? 224.
Tama.
Yan. Sky Cable 224.
Ma'am Lala, yung mga nakikinig at nanonood sa atin, mag-subscribe na rin pala kayo doon sa ating mga social media pages, ha?
Yes, oo.
Para kasi kanina nabasa ko, 30 minutes na daw hinahanap yung ating programa. Hindi niya makita-kita. Kapag ka nag-subscribe, ha? Pagka nag-subscribe ka, automatic meron kang notification.
Yes.
Ayan.
Siguro, Johnny, yung nag-request sa atin na favor ay bagong listener lang natin yun.
Malamang.
So, magstay ka dito every Thursday. I think that si Nino, yung naghingi ng favor na i-post daw natin yung announcement kung paano mag-apply. Maging regular na listener ka namin para lagi mo makikita.
Yung binanggit ni Ma'am Lala kanina, tamang-tama yung segue natin dito sa 9.09er. Ang ganda nung ating usapan with Clive at yung kanyang mga tips, actually, Ma'am Lala, mga madadali lang yung kanyang tip
Oo naman.
Diba?
Oo. Totoo lang. At saka, yun nga, di ba lagi naman din natin sinasabi to sa program natin na dapat kung mag-a-apply ka abroad, hindi lang yung alam mo yung trabaho, dapat alam mo rin i-communicate yung trabaho.
Totoo yan.
Kasi hindi magandang assumption na may mga Pilipino naman kasama dyan sila na rin ang bahala sa akin. Ganon din naman ang ginawa nila Hindi ganon po kasi yon. Kailangan talaga, simula pa lang sa interview ng recruiter, kasama na ang review ng communication skills. Pag pumasa ka doon, syempre, paano mo mapapatunayan sa employer na kaya mo yung trabaho? Kailangan kaya mo rin ipaliwanag ng Ingles. Yun.
Ayan. At ito na nga, kasama dito sa serbisyo publiko na ipinagkakaloob ng SOS, ng 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝘂𝗊 at ng 9.09er. Nagbibigay po sila ng lingguhang tip tungkol sa ating English proficiency. Ang 9.09er, mga kaibigan, itong bahagi po na ito ay hatid sa atin ang 9.09er IELTS Review and Training Center celebrating 16 years of excellence.
Good afternoon to the live viewers and listeners of DZRJ Radio Bandido. It's the time of the week, Thursday, 2 p.m. This is our portion in partnership with 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝘂𝗊's recruitment agency, one of the largest in the Philippines, and just celebrated its 50th year in the industry. We are 9.09er Review Center for IELTS, OET, and PTE. This is Irvin Temporal, and with me is Brian Martin Shawson. This week, we are going to talk about the tips on how you can possibly improve your writing. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, Radio Bandido, DZRJ, and 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝘂𝗊 decided to hire 9.09er in order for us to give you free tips on how to improve your English. So every week, we are going to give you tips on how to improve your speaking, your writing, your listening, and reading. And there's this one Thursday every month where we go live to talk about your concerns, your predicaments on how we can possibly help you to improve your English proficiency level. But first, let me ask Sir Brian Martin Shawson here. Even if there are Filipinos who have no plans of going to US, UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, how important is it for someone to improve his or her proficiency level in English even if there is no overseas application? Sir Brian?
That is a great question because right now there's so many opportunities for people who are excellent in the usage of the language. Maybe you're not cut for the call center occupation or the BPO industry, but there are a lot of new jobs right now in which you're supposed to just write some something like a content writer or an admin worker, or perhaps any other occupation that involves writing only and not speaking English. So being proficient in the language, whether it be in speaking or writing, can equip you with the skills necessary to achieve success in any endeavor that you choose right now. It's a competitive advantage for a lot of Filipinos.
Before, there were instances that companies require you to have finished college and that you need to have a transcript, a diploma. But now, companies are smarter. That's because they do not require diploma or any transcript for as long as you have the necessary qualifications. And I'll give you a case in point. In our industry, which is the IELTS or International English Language Testing System, there are Filipinos who have not even finished college. However, they decided to take the examination. They got stellar marks, like a 7 in writing, a 7 in speaking. They were able to use this to get local and international jobs. How come there are local jobs for them? Because there are Filipinos who are taking the examination and are looking for a private coach. So these Filipinos who pass the IELTS, even if they have not finished college, they're able to secure a part-time job. But on an international level, there are a lot of foreigners, namely Chinese, Vietnamese, Indians, who are looking for a one-on-one coach. So if you have this proficiency level, which is good enough for you to coach the foreign nationals, then definitely you can use this as your racket. It could be full-time, it could be part-time, and take note, you are not required to finish college for as long as you have the necessary qualifications. So in this episode, we are going to talk about the tips that will improve your writing skill. Let's begin with the usual criteria that are important for you to come up with a writing task with substance. And obviously, there's grammar, there's vocabulary, and there's quality of your content. So between the two, Sir Brian and I'd say that Sir Brian here has a better or wider vocabulary than me. So Sir Brian is going to give you tips on how you can probably improve or widen your vocabulary in writing, and then after him, I'm going to talk about the tips on how you can possibly improve your grammar when it comes to writing. So let's begin with Sir Brian.
Well, I'd like to talk about the importance of vocabulary. Vocabulary, when used appropriately, is going to send the message so clearly to your readers and make your writing so persuasive and understandable to any audience. Now, the problem with a lot of people is that they're not able to use the proper vocabulary because they have limited vocabulary in the first place. Well, a lot of people would say that the best approach or the best way by which you're going to be able to learn your vocabulary or learn new words is to read. But I understand that a lot of you are very busy right now and you're so occupied with your duties at work or maybe with your life that you can't actually grab a book or pick up a book and start reading. So I would give you some helpful tips and some strategies perhaps that you can employ to learn words without having to use books in general. And right now, with the advent of modern technology, there are so many applications that you can make use of. So perhaps when you're reading something and you don't understand a particular word, or when you're watching a TV show or a movie and there's a word that you can't actually understand, you can use a dictionary, and dictionaries are now found in every mobile device. All you need to do is to search for the word and the word definition or meaning on the search bar of maybe Google or maybe your Safari, and the meaning of that word is going to pop up instantly. And there are also applications, offline applications, that make use of dictionaries, so you can also make use of these applications when you have spare time. Another one is the use of a thesaurus.
Yes.
There's a thesaurus application already in many devices right now that you can download on App Store or the Play Store. And what this does is it gives you a range of words that you can use in place of another word. So if there's a word that you tend to use so often or so many times, you can find an instant replacement to that word by using a thesaurus. And finally, I'd like to talk about my favorite website, which is ozdic.com. That's ozdic.com. It's a website for collocations. So it actually helps you to not only learn words, but learn combinations of words, which will make your writing not only more creative but more accurate as well. So right now, I want you to make use of all of the tools that you have online and on your mobile devices that will enable you to have a greater proficiency and a wider range of vocabulary, because it's not impossible and it's not too late. So how about for grammar, sir? So would you have some suggestions for our audience?
This is actually what's good with technology now, because both of us were actually born in the 80s. So when we went to school in the 90s, apparently internet was not a thing during that time. So before, if you want to read, you have to go to the library. Or if you want to browse newspapers, you have to spend money for that. But right now, everything is very accessible thanks to the internet. And thank God, because there are mobile applications which are totally free of charge. And I understand that the millennials, the young professionals right now, have all the time in the world. They invest a lot of time in social media. So if you are on your phone and your average screen time is what, like 14 to 16 hours per day, we would rather that you put it to good use by maximizing the free mobile applications that are available. Now, before I go to the tip for grammar, here's a simple practice that I want everyone to try. Every single day, will you please come up with a diary? So make an entry. Yes, this is quite old-fashioned, but this is the only way for you to keep on practicing. Remember, this is not something that you need to memorize, because we are not going to improve your knowledge here. But what are we supposed to do to enhance your skill? All you have to do is to practice. But let me clarify, practice does not make perfect, because a lot of people keep on saying, I just have to practice regularly. Remember, it's constant correct practice that makes it right. Because no matter how much you practice, even if you do it literally every single day, but you are not doing it right, then remember, there is no progress. Improvement will only happen whenever you do it right all the time. So for our first step, please come up with a journal entry or a diary entry every single day, and make sure it is in straight English. Why? Because that's the part of the struggle. You have to come up with a writing task, an output in the very beginning, and try to make it longer day by day. Say for instance, today you start with 5 sentences, then maybe the next day make it 7 or 8 sentences, the next day 10 sentences, and then perhaps the next time around, challenge yourself, come up with 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, until such time that writing more than 250 words in less than 1 hour becomes natural for you. But if you have consistently made these writing tasks, now I'd like to ask Sir Brian, are there specific websites or mobile applications that offer free correction of the writing tasks that they have made?
Well, that is something that you would probably find very difficult to locate online. So it's really hard to get free correction for the writing that you produce unless it's AI generated. So there's no one person who's going to guide you, walk you through the process of writing a better response. So that's where test preparation perhaps or review will come into play, because it might be necessary for you to have someone to guide you every step of the way and identify or pinpoint your mistakes or your errors and what you can improve in the writing that you produce. Because sometimes you feel that you're doing everything correctly, but in the eyes of someone else, so when you have a new pair of eyes check on your writing, then you'll realize that you have committed some mistakes and there are some areas for improvement that you haven't been able to see the first time you looked at it.
Thank you for that, Sir Brian. So as I've mentioned, Sir, as we have mentioned, there are a lot of mobile applications, and try to write on your own. But if you need guidance, that's when lecturers and reviewers like us enter the picture. And speaking of lecturers and reviewers, this coming May, we are celebrating our 16th anniversary extravaganza. So we'd like to invite everyone based in Metro Manila, South Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, because we're doing road shows. So on May 6th, that's Saturday, Dusit Thani, Makati, 12 noon to 5 p.m. Please visit us, because this is totally free of charge, and we have a lot of free lectures and free seminars on that day. In fact, IPAMS will also be there, and IPAMS is one of the largest recruitment agencies in the Philippines, and they can help you if you have plans of going to US, UK, Canada, Australia, Ireland, and New Zealand. But fret not, because like what I've mentioned, this is not just for the people of Metro Manila. The following Saturday, May 13, we are going to Lipa City, Batangas, City Sleep Inn, that's 12 noon to 5 p.m., JP Laurel Highway, Lipa, Batangas. And for my brothers and sisters in Visayas, that's May 20, Saturday, 12 noon to 5 p.m., Quest Hotel in the city of Cebu. And down south, my hometown, Davao City, May 27, 12 noon to 5 p.m., Apo View Hotel. So don't forget to visit us, attend our grand extravaganza as we conduct free lectures, free seminars that will help you improve your English. At the same time, if you have plans of going to US, UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, IPAMS will be there to help you learn about the process. So, Coach Brian, will you please invite our live viewers and live listeners to tune in every Thursday?
Yeah, every Thursday we are here, so please don't forget to tune in and to watch our videos, and also to listen to us on a broadcast, and also through live stream if you are available to do that, because we have some insightful tips that we can share with you every Thursday. See you again next time.
See you next week. Bye!
All right, thank you so much si Irvin and Brian ng 9.09er IELTS Review and Training Center celebrating 16 years of excellence. Talagang
talaga naman. Oo. And yes, tama ang 9.09ers dyan. We will be there sa kanilang event. Okay, i-share ko lang sa screen para makita rin ng mga viewers natin yung schedule nila on when they will be coming over for their 16th anniversary extravaganza. Ang daming freebies nito, di ba?
Talaga ba?
Napakaraming freebies. Mag-enroll na rin kaya ako. Oo, dali. Medyo inaano natin. So parang, kumbaga, if you allow me to share, gusto ko lang din makita rin ng mga viewers because IPAMS will be there as well.
Okay.
To join them, to join them in this 16th anniversary extravaganza nila. So there will be like a grand IELTS, OET, and PTE fair. So may booth din ng IPAMS dyan sa kanilang mga events sa May 6. Yeah, May 6, nasa Dusit Tani, Makati kami. So regardless kung ikaw ay nurse or other positions, you're thinking about applying sa New Zealand, kagaya ng sinabi kanina ni Clive, New Zealand, or you're applying for Australia, sa mga upcoming opportunities for Australia, Canada, let's say United Kingdom, may mga skilled workers din dyan. You'd like to inquire, and then of course USA with our partner Visa Solutions Healthcare. If you have inquiries about job opportunities, may booth kami dyan sa extravaganza na yan. That will be on May 6, Saturday from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. At syempre, pakita nga natin, Clarence, may mga freebies sila dyan sa mga listeners ngayon. At sinabi nga ni Clive na kailangan matutong mag-Ingles para makapunta ng New Zealand. Ayan meron silang grand prize na free IELTS exam. Wow. Galing. Oo, meron pang grand prize na free OET exam. And then may PTE exam. So medyo hirap ka sa IELTS, OET. Pwede rin ng PTE, I guess, as acceptable din yan. At may mga free entrance, seminar, consultations, at syempre, Johnny, sumama ka kaya dito, may snacks.
Pwede. At wala tong bayad,
Wala, it's free.
Free po ito, yung pagpunta nyo sa Dusit.
Ayan, may free book pa nga raw silang ibibigay for the first 150 attendees. Yan. So,
okay, very good.
So, tama, so okay na yung sharing natin. So, yan, kasama kami.
Tama, hanggang oras yan, alas 5.
Yes, oo.
Pagkatapos nyo, mag-relax kayo sa RJ Bistro.
Ayun! Tama.
Nandyan rin Dusit Tani
Oo nga. Diba? Pagkatapos manood na. Kita ko si Sir RJ. Ang galing mag-gitara ni Sir RJ.
Malamang, talagang pupunta tayo. Sige. Sandali, ang dami ng mga comments pero meron po muna tayo isang report, Ma'am Lala, Sandali. Galing kay Jong Banglapas. Tapos pagkatapos niyan, iinom ng tubig si Ma'am Lala. Alam niyo na ang kasunod. Jong, magandang hapon sa iyo. Please come in.
Nalalapit na ang pagpapatupad ng single ticketing system sa Metro Manila. Ito ang pinaalala ng Land Transportation Office o LTO sa mga motorista. Ibig sabihin nito, ang 7 lokal na pamahalaan ay magkakaroon ng unified ticketing system kung saan magkakaroon sila ng koneksyon sa database ng LTO. Kasama sa initial na rollout nito sa May 2, 2023 kabilang ang San Juan City, Quezon City, Parañaque, Maynila, Muntinlupa, Valenzuela at Caloocan. Sinabi ni LTO Chief J.R. Togade, magkakaroon din ng demerit system sa ilalim ng bagong polisiya kung saan ang mga lalabag sa batas trapiko ay may kaakibat na demerit points. Halimbawa, kapag umabot na sa 10 demerit points, ay mandatory nang sasailalim sa reorientation course ang isang driver at maaari pang mauwi sa pagpapawalang bisa ng lisensya kung umabot na sa 40 ang demerit points. Paniliwanag ni Tugade na hindi kukumpiskahin ang lisensya ng motorista kapag nahuling lumabag sa batas trapiko, maliban na lamang kung ito ay may pending pang multa na hindi nababayaran. Ako si Jong Manlapas para sa DZRJ 10 AM, ang Radyo Bandido TV.
Alright, thank you so much.
Okay.
Si Jong Manlapas, mga kaibigan, mula sa Quezon City. Eto na.
Ay,
Talagang pinaghandaan na tayo.
sandali.
ha?
Babatiin ko
Oh.
yan si Jong Manglapas. Kilala ko yan.
Talaga ba? Ay,
Ay,
mga
Jong!
mga dabarkads pala ito eh. Ay,
Oo,
talaga.
yes.
Sige.
Oy, uminom
Paabot
na ako.
Uminom ka na.
I'm
Paabot
ready.
natin kay Jong yung pagbati ni Ma'am Lala, ha? O,
Oo,
sige.
hello,
Eto na.
Jong.
Eto na.
Ayun ako.
For ways and more muna tayo. Doon sa mga kanina pang nagbibigay ng kanilang mga komento, papaano daw po bang mag-apply sa IPAMS? Narito na ang
Oh,
ating nag-iisa. Ha? Para tayong nasa piyesta nito. Ang nag-iisa. Ha? Ang kumakain ng mga masasarap na pagkain. Oh, ayan. Ha?
Oh.
Okay. Ito, for ways
Kanina,
and more. Oh,
Johnny,
lunch
kanina
mo ba?
nosebleed ako doon, ha? Kanina
Hindi, ang
nosebleed ako doon.
galing-galing mo
English
nga.
yun.
Feeling ko nga si Clive ang na-nosebleed. Oh, so dali.
Oh,
For
eto
ways
na.
and more. Sige.
Yeah, 4 ways and more. Pa-flash sa screen para sa mga nanonood dyan.
Ang daya mo.
Kaya ko. Kasi syempre, sa
Oh.
mga nakikinig, maglilista sila. Pero sa mga
Okay.
nanonood sa TV at saka sa
Oh.
social media natin,
Picture na lang.
picture-picturean. O sige,
Sige,
flash
sige.
na nga natin yan, Clarence. Okay, ayan. Nakikita na nila 4 ways and more on how to apply sa IPAMS. Syempre, apat na klase yan. We have number 1. Pwede po kayong mag-walk-in sa IPAMS tuwing Martes at tuwing Miyerkules from 8:30 in the morning hanggang 2:30 ng hapon para mag-submit ng application ninyo. At kung active ang job openings natin ay syempre, pwede kayong interviewin ng ating mga recruiters. O syempre, babatiin ko yung ating mga recruiters dyan, ang mga masisipag, magigiting, pogi at magaganda.
Mhm.
Enjoy sila ngayong week kung bakit i-share ko sa'yo.
Ay, talaga ba?
Oo. Ang masasabi ko lang dyan, inulan kami ng magaganda this week.
Oo, talaga, ha?
Oo.
Mamaya,
Okay,
i-text mo
papakita ko sa inyo mamaya.
i-chat mo sa akin yan, mamaya. ha?
Oo, okay. So number 2 natin, syempre, sa mga nagtatanong kung may opportunity sa New Zealand or any other countries na meron for IPAMS, punta po kayo sa website ng IPAMS, that's www.ipams.com. Punta kayo sa job seekers page, hanapin ninyo yung country kung saan nyo gusto magtrabaho or hanapin po ninyo sa search position, yung position na gusto nyong applyan. So that's number 2. Number 3, syempre, kasing ganda ng phone ni Sir Johnny, ano ba, mayroon ka na bang bagong telepono ulit?
Awan pay!
Awan pay mat, apay ngay.
Awan pay! Oo.
Awan pay, apay ngay mat. Ngayon, sige. Okay, you can download dahil dyan, kung smart ang phone ninyo, you can download our IPAMS mobile app and that is for free via Apple Store or Google Play. Yan. And then you can apply real-time din dyan. Okay, number 4 natin, syempre, ang daming nakapublish na email addresses dyan, pero sa mga listeners natin, sasabihin ko sa inyo, pakilista right away. Okay. If Canada ang gusto nyong applyan, our email address is canadajobs@ipams.com. Kung ang intention mo is to apply under food and beverage industry, you can submit your application sa fnb@ipams.com. Siyempre for US nurses natin, opportunities for Health Star, opportunities for Visa Solutions Healthcare. You can submit your applications to usrn@ipams.com. opportunities for for United Kingdom as nurses and other healthcare positions. Mamaya yung healthcare, eto muna nurses, UKRN at ipams.com. For healthcare positions, syempre, healthcare at ipams.com. Manufacturing, nako, kanina ang dami Hungary boys dito, paalis na naman.
ganun ba? Oy, talaga naman.
Mamaya ipapakita natin yung picture. Gusto daw nila makita yung mga mukha daw nila mamaya.
Pwede.
Yes, so sa mga manufacturing sector, that's mfg at ipams.com. Syempre, kanina, in-announce ko na to kay Clive, New Zealand.
Ayan
NZ. Yeah, NZ at ipams.com. And for other positions, any country, you can submit your applications to resumes at ipams.com. Now, Johnny, yung more natin. Ito naman yung kapag hindi schedule ng accepting ng applicants pero dumaan sila dito ng CV, meron tayong tinatawag na CV drop-off program. Isasubmit lang nila yung kanilang CV dito sa aming Dropbox. At syempre kaming mga recruiters, nire-review namin yan every week. Okay? Tapos kung qualified kayo, kukontakin namin kayo right away. Basta extended pa lang SIM registration mo 90 days.
90 days.
Oo. Pagparehistro na kayo ng SIM nyo kahit 90 days pa yan. Kasi pag hindi namin kayo makontak, ibig sabihin, hindi na rehistrado ang SIM card ninyo. Yun. Okay, yan ha. Tapos na ako, Johnny.
Bilis, ano? Bakit nung wala ka pang art card, parang hirap na hirap tayo? Ha? Parang ngayon, sinasabayan mo ng paghinga, no? Habang naka-flash. Anyway, ang dami, marami pang good news at marami pa pong mga openings and opportunities na ibibigay si Ma'am Lala. Pero yung mga tanong muna, Ma'am Lala.
Dami nga.
Ma'am Perla Patricio, naka-monitor. Excellent interview tips from Clive. Thank you, Ma'am Perla, ha?
Oo, alam mo naman yan. Sabi niya, sana daw hindi ka mawala.
Wala ba si Boss Lito?
Syempre, nanonood yun sa big screen.
Bakit walang papel? Bakit walang papel?
Boss Lito, pahabol daw ng papel.
Walang papel
Pahabol daw ng papel, Boss Lito.
Yan yung signal na nandyan si Boss
Uy, in fairness, sinet up niya yung isang room namin sa office ng malaking TV para makapanood ka niya, Johnny.
Talaga ha?
Oo. Nung iniwanan mo ako, nagulat siya, punta siya agad dito sa akin, tapos sabi niya, anak ng pating, sabi niya. Anak ng pating, sabi niya. Programa mo na ba yun?
Kawawa naman yung pating nadamay, ano? Sandali! Ma'am, galing kay Sally Sentizo Garcia. Encoder. Meron daw bang opening?
Okay, sa ngayon, wala tayong job opportunity for encoder. So, standby lang kung sakaling magkaroon tayo.
Eto, storekeeper. Galing pa rin kay Sally.
So, ngayon, wala tayong opportunity niya for storekeeper. Standby lang din. Minsan, nagkakaroon tayo niyan for Canada.
Si Glenn Jude Jr., tinatanong niya kahit na anong airport opportunities, jobs sa New Zealand, kung meron daw ba?
Alam mo, waiting yan. Waiting yan yung job offer niya from Qatar Airways. Pero ang sagot ko nga kanina sa kanya sa comment section, mag-standby lang siya kasi si Qatar Airways mismo ang magbibigay ng feedback sa kanya direct.
Ayun.
Once naka-receive ka ng direct job offer mo, syempre ibig sabihin tatawagan ka na ni IPAMS for mobilization process.
Correct.
Pero kung naiinip ka na, nag-inquire ka na any airport opportunity, mag-abang-abang din tayo. Yan.
Pero yung tip, maganda yung tip ni Ma'am Lala. Actually, paulit-ulit every Thursday sinasabi niya. Kahit makatanggap po kayo ng job offer, wag muna kayong magre-resign.
Wag muna. Alam mo, ang lalakas, may mga iba pa ako na-encounter dyan na malalakas ang loob yung nagre-resign dahil hindi daw sila makafocus mag-apply ng trabaho. Pero sana naman kapag nagpa-interview kayo sa amin, wag ninyong antigin yung damdamin namin na wala na kayong nangutang pa kayo ng pamasahe para na makakuha ng trabaho. Kasi ibig sabihin dapat, pag nag-resign ka para mag-focus sa maghanap ng trabaho abroad, meron kang itinabing budget para dyan.
Okay, that's right. Ito si Ana Filma, sales assistant 5 years daw sa UAE. Tapos naging private driver for 2 years. Meron daw kayang available na trabaho, naghihintay sa kanya sa New Zealand, Ma'am Lala?
Sabi nga ni Clive, abangan natin kung ano yung mga other opportunities niya. So sa ngayon, kung ano yung mga nabanggit kong opportunities kaninang 2 p.m. na mga halos puro lalaki pa lang lahat yung opening niya. Pero tingnan natin, we look forward na magkaroon ng iba pa. Yun.
Oo nga, hindi pala ako humingi ng apology. Pinaalala sa akin ni Ma'am Perla na wala pala ako last week. Binabanggit ni Ma'am Lala kanina dahil mahina yung connection ng nasa kuweba ako noon eh. Hindi, mahina yung connection ng internet. Pasensya na po kayo at mabuti na lang, talagang napakagaling ditong si Ma'am Lala at naitawid. Sa amin po talagang sanay na sanay kaming tawirin ng 7 ilog at mga bundok. Yan ha. Isang oras itinawid. Itinawid tayo, Ma'am Lala.
Dito, anak daw ng pating.
Oo nga, kaya nga naaawa ko dun sa pating nasisi pa eh. Sandali. Yung sinabi ni Ronald kanina, tip para makapasa sa interview. Para dito sa IPAMS, Ma'am Lala, what do you usually provide ng mga tips para talagang makapasa naman sa interview yung ating mga aplikante?
Okay. Siyempre, ang ulang lagi kong sinasabi dyan, number 1, wag lutang.
Okay. Alam mo, Ma'am Lala, maganda siguro next time mag-role-playing tayo.
Oo, mag-role-playing tayo. Or magbibigay ako ng bullet points ng tip. Yan.
Kala ko bulletproof vest eh. Ha? Hatakin natin si Ma'am Perla at saka yung isang aplikante.
Baka hindi pumasa yung aplikante. Ang galing mag-interview ni Ma'am Perla.
Siya na lang. Si Ma'am Perla at saka si Sir Ervin.
Oo. Yan, tama. Mag-interviewhan silang dalawa in English. Yun.
Tapos, bakasyon muna tayo. Sige, Ma'am Lala, yung tip mo, paano ba
yung tip, syempre, number 1 would be, bago kayo pumunta dito sa IPAMS or kahit saan agency, pag kayo'y nag-a-apply ng trabaho, kailangan ready kayo sa lahat. Okay. Alam ninyo binasa ninyo yung job description na nakapublish sa website or sa mga job portals. Dapat ready rin ang mga documents nyo at alam ninyo sa sarili nyo kaya nyong sagutin sa English yung tanong. Kasi kahit Pilipino kami, wag nyong aasahan na magtatagalog kami kapag nagtanong kami sa iyo. Kasi hindi po pwedeng magsa-side comment ka na Pilipino ka naman, baka pwedeng pakiusap naman, i-consider mo ko. Hindi po pwede dito yung pa-line up mo na lang ako, kaya ko yung trabaho niyan. Hindi. Kasi gaya ng sinabi ni Clive, kung kayo ay kayang sumagot ng English kahit caveman ang dating or yung barok ang dating, kaming mga recruiters, itatawid namin yan. Tapos pag nakita namin kaya mo makipag-usap sa employer, bibigyan ka namin ng advice. Habang nag-aantay tayo ng final interview, mag-practice ka na mag-English. Kausapin mo yung aso mo ng English. Yun. Para pag humarap ka na sa employer, sanay ka na. Or kahit paano, kampante ka na.
Meron ka bang na-experience kapag ikaw yung nag-i-interview tapos yung aplikante nanginginig, Ma'am Lala?
Oo, isa pa yun. Kaya nga lagi kong sinasabi, dapat ready sila. Kami namang mga recruiters ay ready rin kami na, alam mo yun, pakalmahin sila. Ayun. Minsan nagugulat kami na parang nagpa-interview siya tapos hindi man lang nag-almusal. Kaya alam mo si boss Lito, kapag sobrang dami ng tao sa labas na lalo na yung mga open days namin, may papakita open day mamaya. Alam mo, ang sabi ni boss, maglagay tayo dyan ng kape. Para naman kahit paano mainit-initan ng mga sikmura nila. Kasi may mga aplikante na madaling araw pa lang lumuluwas.
Lumuluwas na.
Oo, para pumila dito. So kahit paano, nagpapakapi kami para nang din na ma-sustain nila yung pagod nila o baka inaantok-antok pa sila. Pero syempre magbaon din kayo ng tubig ninyo.
Sandwich.
Ng tinapay or sandwich. Oo. Kasi lalo na ngayon, tubig. Kasi ang init ng panahon sa labas.
Napakainit.
Napakainit, oo. Saka another thing siguro na may bibigay ko na tip siguro dyan is that kailangan talaga alam nila yung gusto nilang puntahan.
Okay.
Country. Hindi pwede na ako dyan, pwede na ako dito. At saka alam natin na karamihan ng mga aplikante nagwi-window shopping ng job offer. Yun. So kailangan kami naman mga recruiter, sinasabi namin sa kanila, gusto mo ng Canada, pero tandaan mo ang Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Hungary, may tax.
Okay.
Yan. Kaya ganito kalaki ang sweldo nila. Ngayon, kung Middle East ang pupuntahan mo, na-explain din namin sa kanila, etong sweldo. Siyempre, malayo yung rate compared sa sinabi kong bansang una. Pero tax-free yun. So, binibigyan namin sila din ng guidance. So, kailangan, magdidesisyon sila hindi dahil sa, kasi nabasa ko or napanood ko sa vlog.
Pagka nakita nila yung figure, natataranta eh.
Yes, oo. Tapos pagdating ng job offer, marirealize nila, hindi ko pala may uuwi lahat ito. Akala nila may uuwi nila lahat, let's say, ang sweldo ay $29 per hour. Okay. Akala nila mauuwi nila lahat yon. Tandaan ninyo, may tax pa rin po kayong, may tax pa rin na ikakaltas sa inyo pagdating nyo sa UK, sa Canada, sa Australia, sa New Zealand, kasi nakatira kayo doon at least for a little while or saglit while working there. So, kailangan nyo magbayad ng tax para i-enjoy din yung benefit ng employer. Sa Middle East, kung ano yung benepisyo rin na ibinibigay o na sabihin na natin hindi gaano kalaki, hindi gaano kaano yung benefits. But then again, covered din sila ng mga benepisyo offered din ng mga countries na yun sa Middle East. Tax-free sila di ba?
Doon sa ibang bansa, may kaltax.
Kaltax.
May kaltax.
Malaki sa payslip pero may kaltax na.
Sabi ni May, sana daw makapunta siya ng New Zealand, NC2 holder in caregiving. Meron ka bang opening dyan, Ma'am Lala?
Actually wala tayong opportunity for caregivers in New Zealand or any other country. Standby lang kung sakaling magkaroon tayo.
Okay, si LJ Aguirre. Ano ba ito? Store Associate. Anong function na ito?
Para sa amin yan, sa may employer namin na Alshaya Group, yung store associate is parang sales, nagse-sales din sila.
I see.
Nagse-sales sila, yan, okay.
Tire technician, tinatanong, Islamic yung kanyang mga, hindi ko mabasa.
Nag-recruit kami dati niyan for Canada, pero sa ngayon wala pa tayong opportunity.
Wala pa, okay. Wood laborer, galing kay Frederick Arieta.
I think kakapapa-interview lang namin ng mga wood laborers. So submit lang sila ng application kasi from time to time nagkakaroon kami yan for Canada.
Okay. Teka Oy, si Noel tinatanong paano daw mag-apply. Mamaya papasadahan uli ni Ma'am Lala.
Oo.
Sales executive. Tapos yung kanyang logo parang nagtatrabaho siya sa car dealership. Meron daw ba our best Roman? May vacancy
kanina,
daw ba?
Ang sinabi ni Clive na opening nila for New Zealand is part sales consultant. Galing daw Mitsubishi dapat.
Uy, itong nagtatanong, yung logo ng kumpanyang binanggit mo, Ma'am Lala, ang nakalagay
Oo, nako. Isa lang masasabi ko, mag-submit ka na sa iPAMS. For nz@ipams.com. Yan, diba?
Ayan Si Jenny Tejano, willing daw siya mag-apply ng welder. Babae ito, Ma'am Lala.
Sige. Sabi ko nga kay Clive, magsara ng job order ng welder na babae and will be very happy. Gusto ko yung sagot mo. Sige.
Sige.
Aabangan ko talaga yung isasara ni Clive na welder na babaeng yan. Pauulanin ko siya ng mga babaeng welder dito sa iPAMS.
Yan ba yung i-chat mo sa akin?
Ay, hindi.
Iba pa?
Yung mga umulan dito sa iPAMS, mga magagandang dilag.
Talaga Sige. Ano ba ito?
Ayun, ano pa yan? Pwede ko ba i-flash yon? Kasi next week uulan din kami ng magagandang dilag, Johnny.
Sige nga, silipin nga natin.
Oo, kaso hindi ko muna sasabihin ko ng employer to
Okay.
Pero hindi mo ko muna sasabihin ko ng employer kasi i-announce namin later kapag na-approve na yung kanilang na-approve na nila yung actual na ad. So, meron po tayong open day recruitment para sa mga female cabin services assistant.
Okay.
Maraming tumawag kasi tinanggal ko raw to sa Facebook muna. Yes, tinanggal muna namin to sa Facebook because we are waiting for the branded ad o yung tinatawag nating may logo na ng employer.
Female cabin.
Female cabin services assistant. Alam mo dyan yung trabaho
nito. Mga ka-height ko yan, mga ka-height ko.
Oo, 160 cm daw. 160 cm.
Pahiga?
Mga 5'3". Pahiga? Ano kang pahiga? Ano ka baong?
Oh.
Ayan. So, ito, high school graduate or ALS certified. Ayan. Siyempre, although we would be very happy if we will have applicants with 2 years of customer sales experience.
Okay.
Pero kung wala kang customer sales experience, pero you can demonstrate your skills na kaya mo mag-handle ng customer, yes, you can also apply. Kung may housekeeping experience then it's a plus. Siyempre, Johnny, pag sinabi kong inulan kami na magaganda ngayong linggo, ganun din ang kailangan natin. Kasi alam mo naman, ang mga flight attendant, mga cabin services, pag sumakay ka sa aeroplano, alam mo na kung ano yung tinutukoy ko, di ba?
Totoo. May 1 and 2 sa Lunes at Martes.
Yes. Holiday sa May 1 dahil Labor Day. Pero ang IPAMS, hindi mo natatanggap ng aplikante for other positions, para lang dito muna ang tatanggapin namin.
Parang nagtitwinkle lang mata mo dahil holiday.
Andito ako eh. Andito ako. Alam mo naman, fan din ako ng magagandang babae, Johnny.
Siyempre naman.
Oo. So May 1, ang IPAMS po ay tatanggap lang ng applications for female cabin services assistant. Wala po muna tayong ibang posisyon na i-entertain.
Okay.
May 1. Pati rin May 2, ina-announce ko na rin. Pero later magpo-post kami announcement. Hindi rin po muna kami mag-e-entertain ng other positions for May 2 dahil sa open day recruitment namin for female cabin services assistant. Kasi Johnny, dinadayo kami nito. That's the reason why pina-flash ko na briefly. Ayan, so okay na tayo, Clarence. Okay na yung sharing natin yan. Yan. So mamaya abangan nila yung actual ad. Meron pa, marami pa ako syempre. Pero
isa lang yung nakita ko eh.
Isa lang? Ipapakita natin iba. Asan na yung iba natin dyan? Ipakita natin yung Middle East natin. Siyempre, Johnny, ito, tinitis namin palagi to. First, itong ipapakita ko to sa program mo to. Kauna-unahang, hindi ko pa to napopost, pero pinakita ko na sa program mo.
Talaga naman. Kita mo, wala pa nga yung mga requirements, pero nauna na tayo, ha?
Yes, of course. Okay. Ina-announce na natin, after so many years, since 1972, kliyente na po ito ng IPAMS. Natigil lang kami mag-recruit noong 2017 sa kanila. Pero ina-announce namin, we are very happy to announce that Saudi Aramco is back sa amin and now accredited by the Department of Migrant Workers through IPAMS. So sa mga gustong mag-apply sa Saudi Aramco direct, hindi po ito contractor, kundi direct employer because kliyente na namin to. Actually, first deployment yata daw namin ito according to Boss Lito is 1974.
Kailan lang?
Kailan lang?
Boss, kailan lang yun?
And then na-stop lang kami noong 2017 with them. Pero eto, they're back again and we're very happy na, syempre, alam mo naman pag sinabi nilang IPAMS noon, alam nila, Saudi Aramco.
Yes.
Yan. So, sanggang dikit yan. So, standby sa mga gustong magtrabaho sa oil and gas directly under Saudi Aramco. Soon, mag-a-announce kami ng mga latest job opportunities natin yan. So, okay. So, next slide natin. Ito, paborito ko to kasi kulang pa rin kami ng candidates. So, nakikita nyo sa screen, female nail technicians, open pa rin po kami for Qatar duty free. At open pa rin tayo for another one. Clarice, pakita mo yung spa therapies, female spa therapies. Open pa rin po kami for Qatar duty free. Another one, syempre, kung may Saudi Aramco, ito ang kadugtong niya. Yung hospital ng Saudi Aramco. That's the John Hopkins Aramco Healthcare. Kailangan pa rin namin ng senior registered nurses. Virtual interview ang magaganap nito starting last week of April up to May. Virtual interviews ito. So we're looking for senior registered nurses with at least 5 years of hospital experience. Either one of the following areas of specialization, so NICU, ICU, oncology, emergency, pediatric, hemodialysis, medical surgical nurse, mother and baby care, home health care, and operating room. Ngayon, kung hindi naman senior ang level mo, less than 5 years experience mo, i-entertain ka rin namin. Itong John Hopkins Aramco Healthcare kasi ito yung hospital mismo ng Saudi Aramco, Johnny. So lahat ng empleyado at family ng mga employees ng Saudi Aramco dinadala sa John Hopkins Aramco Healthcare para maalagaan sila, yung mga immediate care. Ito ang hospital nila, may opportunity rin yan. Okay, ipakita nga natin din yung isa nating Saudi Arabia, yung 𝗦𝗲𝗃. Yan. So we're still looking for construction laborers and technical applications engineers. Apply na kayo sa resumes at ipams.com with the subject name/𝗦𝗲𝗃 at saka kung ano yung position na applyan nyo. So that's Middle East ha, walang tax. Yan. Middle East, meaning no tax. Pakita nga natin yung yung nurses natin. Nurses natin dyan. Siyempre dahil napakarami naming nurses, ipakita natin muna yung Visa Solutions Healthcare natin. We are still looking for nurses for Visa Solutions Healthcare. Gaya ng sinabi ni Fred, you can choose any state sa United States ng hospital. Alam mo ba kung magkano ang maximum salary nito, Johnny?
Magkano?
I think it's more than $8,000 per month or $5 million per annum.
Galing,
depending sa years of experience, ha? Depending sa years of experience. So yan, we're looking for applicants like you. Wala ka pang IELTS. Kumuha ka muna ng IELTS kina Irvin. Mag-training ka muna sa 9.09ers. Yan. And then, habang nagtitrain ka sa 9.09ers ng IELTS or OET, mag-apply ka na sa IPAMS to be able for us to screen you for the USRN opportunity. I-flash nga na, meron kaming virtual talk this coming Friday. Last Friday of the month, so April 28, sa mga gustong malaman ng information paano pumunta sa Amerika as a nurse under Visa Solutions Healthcare, mag-join na po kayo dito sa Nurse Virtual Talk namin every Friday of the month. So that will be April 28, bukas na yan. Ayan. Siyempre, Johnny, pag naging applicant sila ng nurse, meron kaming reward under IPAMS.
Ay, talaga ba?
Oo. Ayan, pakita namin. 15,000. O yan. 15,000 ang kanilang sign-in bonus na tinatawag. Oo. Kapag sila ay napaalis namin under United Kingdom, so babayaran sa kanila yan 1 week bago sila umalis. Basta sila ay prinasis ng IPAMS from recruitment up to departure within 6 months. Ngayon, kung US ka naman, let's say nag-apply ka under Visa Solutions Healthcare, payable 1 week before the departure ng mga aplikante namin na wala pang IELTS, OET, NCLEX, and Visa Screen at kailangan within 2 years namin may di-deploy yan. O, 15,000 sangka pa. O, di ba? Yan ang ating mga opportunity natin for nurses. Kung ayaw nyo munang mag-US, feeling nyo hindi pa kayo ready, meron tayong iba pa dyan. Yung UK muna, din ipakita natin pag meron ng ito pala, may US pa tayo. Magulo ako. Ba yan? May US. May US pa tayo. Okay, yan. Ito naman is kapag meron ka ng IELTS, OET, or may NCLEX ka na. Yan.
Okay.
Magulo ang iyong screen. Yan. So, meron tayong opportunity for other healthcare. That's medical laboratory technicians, medical laboratory scientists, at registered nurses. That's for Healthcare International, for Covenant Health. Meron ka na NCLEX, gusto mo sa Texas, eto, may opportunity kami under HealthStar. Yan. So, ano pa dyan? Gusto mo pa
Completos regados. Ha?
Siyempre. Gusto mo pa magpakita pa ako ng iba?
Ang galing. Meron pa bang iba?
Ito, nurses, kung ayaw mo muna mag-US, mag-UK ka muna.
Okay. Talagang napakaraming opportunity.
Yes, alam mo, kailangan natin ng nurses for overseas work. So, meron tayong nurses meron tayong community nurse sa mga, I think ito yung mga nagtatrabaho sa mga community services or yung mga DOH, yung pinapadala from one place to another. So, we have an opportunity for you. Community nurse, 6 months of hospital experience. Well, okay kapag may IELTS or OET ka, pero habang nagre-review ka pa sa 9.09er, mag-apply ka na for UK. Yan. We have community nurses. May isa pa tayong nurse, i-splash mo nga, Clarence. ICU nurse, I believe meron tayo. Yan, ICU nurse. Okay, yan. General nurses. Yan, meron tayong mental health nurse. Tingnan mo yung salary ng mental health nurse. Marami nag-rally ng mental health nurse 2 weeks ago. So,
pounds salary, ito, 23,000 pounds, ha?
Yes,
23,949.
entry level yan,
Magkano bang palitan ng pounds ngayon? 60 pesos?
60 pesos pa rin. I think constant ang pounds talaga, hindi nagbabago.
Magkano yan? 23?
23,000. Ito yung
949.
band 4, oo. Pag nag-start
60.
sila na wala pa yung kanilang tinatawag na yung hindi pa nila pinapasa yung OSCE nila. So habang nandun sila reviewing their OSCE, ang entry level nila is bandwidth 4. Yan yung salary.
Annual ito, Ma'am Lala?
I think this is I think annual ba to? Yeah, I think it is annual.
Okay.
And then pwede siyang i-upgrade kapag band level 5 na sila from 27,000 pounds up to 32,000 pounds.
Okay.
Yan.
Galing ha.
Yan. O sa mga mental health nurse dyan na nagrarally, gusto nyo ng 50,000 na sweldo, eto. Meron tayo for mental health nurse. Yan. Okay. So next natin, meron pa tayong other nurses. Oncology. Yan. Meron din tayo. Okay. Meron din tayo for other nurse. Ano pa ba yan, Clarence? Pakita natin. Okay na tayo for nurses.
Marami talaga ha. Marami nagtatanong.
Oo. Ano pang mga gusto mo makita? Opportunity natin. Meron din kami Philippines. Siyempre, ang ating employer na Quanta Philippines. Yan. Ipakita natin.
Tama.
O, sa mga naghahanap ng IT, bago ka muna mag-abroad, practice ka muna sa Pinas. Ayan. IT Financial Analyst, we have a job opportunity under Quanta Philippines. Dito kasi ang regional headquarters nila. So, yan yung opening natin. Nababasa naman ng ating mga nanonood ng requirements. IT Financial Analyst, 5 years of working experience sa IT actuals, IT budget planning, IT forecasting of cost and variations explanation. So, apply na dito sa IPAMS. So, yan.
Doon sa mga nakakaintindi. Ako, hindi ko naiintindihan eh.
Ako din.
Financial yan eh.
Oo.
Sige,
ang alam ko lang, basta puno yung wallet ko.
Pwede
I am
na
financially capable. Yarn!
Ay.
Yan.
Ano pang ng Quanta?
Yan, IT Procurement Analyst. Yan, opportunity rin natin yan. Finance din to, Johnny. Basta alam ko, pag puno yung
telecoms,
ko, financially capable ako. At saka syempre, ang telecoms engineers natin. Yan.
Huwag mong pabasa kay AJ.
Oo.
Takpan natin.
Ayan, tinanggal ko na. Ito, may opportunity tayo for sales engineers. Yan, for Philippines. So, ito ay para sa aming employer na SPECO. I think ito yung mga nagbebenta ng mga firefighting equipment, firefighting equipment sa mga buildings. So, kailangan namin ng mga sales engineers dyan with qualifications na kaya mag-negotiate, kaya magbenta ng mga firefighting system equipments, may product knowledge. Yan. So, pwede silang I think kahit basta may experience sa sales or possibly may experience sa firefighting system and equipment na bentahan. Apply na rin sa IPAMS. Multinational company ito. Yan. Okay. So, ano pa ba yung mga opening natin dyan? Pwede bang i-flash ko yung list of documents na lang? Yan.
Oy, pwede. Pero balikan muna natin, Ma'am Lala, bago yung list of documents mo. Ito lang, tinatanong ni John Boris Vergara.
Ano
kung
yun?
Meron daw factory worker or cleaner for Quebec or Canada.
Sa ngayon, wala pa tayong factory cleaner for Canada kasi alam mo, ang dami pa rin namin pool niyan. So, submit lang sila ng application para pag nagtawag ng pool, ng employer natin, at qualified sila, meron na kaming ready pool. Pero tatanda natin mga aplikante tip ko lang sa inyo, dapat kung Canada ang target nyo, dapat solid ang years of experience. That's number one. Kung ano yung na-applyan yung trabaho, let's say cleaner for Canada, industrial cleaner. Dapat industrial cleaner talagang trabaho mo. Number two is employment gap. Dapat kapag nag-apply ka, let's say truck mechanic, dapat ang experience mo is yun talagang truck mechanic at kung ikaw naman ay nawalan ng trabaho, ang huling trabaho mo as truck mechanic is from May 2022 onwards.
Okay.
Yun, oo. And pangatlong tip ko, kung sakaling, let's say, umalis ka ng trabaho kasi gusto mo muna magnegosyo, pero gusto mong mag-Canada, sa ngayon, ang sistema kasi ng IRCC, hindi kasi ina-accept yung mga for work permit, yung mga may sariling
trabaho, negosyo.
Yes, because ang katwiran ng IRCC, may negosyo ka nga dyan So, bakit ka paalis? Yun.
Okay. Sige. Ano yung sinasabi mong ipa-flash natin, Ma'am Lala?
Ito, list of documents.
Ayan,
Flash
very
natin. Yan, sa mga gusto mag-apply, o time check 3:57 p.m.
Tama-tama. Dito na tayo mag-e-end.
Oo. Yan, list of documents required. So nakikita po ninyo sa screen, dapat po meron kayong copy ng detailed and updated CV resume.
Okay.
Passport valid for more than 3 years. So kung mag-expire ng passport nyo, kuha na kayo ng appointment sa DFA. Valid NBI clearance with no record on file or no derogatory record on file remark. School credentials. Kung nasa probinsya po ang school credentials nyo at nagkaroon po kayo ng chance magbakasyon na may open ang school. So better na i-process nyo na rin to dahil hinihingi rin po ito. Okay? Vaccination card, ibig sabihin COVID-19 vaccinated ka. Nako, warning lang. I think Zamboanga, no? Merong bagong variant. So, kailangan talaga vaccinated po tayo. Yan. And of course, lastly, PAYO certificate requirement po yan ng Department of Migrant Workers bago po kayo mag-apply for jobs abroad. Yan.
Ayun. Kompletos Ricardos talaga.
Siyempre, kumpleto tayo para mabasa-basa din nila. Basa-basa din pag may tayo.
Basa-basa pag may tayo. Nako, Ma'am Lala, kinapos na tayo ng oras pero muli tayo magkikita next Thursday para dito sa ating Thursday 2 o'clock habit. Paalam muna tayo, Ma'am Lala.
Yes, maraming salamat sa lahat ng listeners at syempre, hopefully, see you again. Join us again next week para sa mga questions. Pwede rin po kayo mag-comment habang kami nagpo-program. Babasahin po namin yan, surely.
Alright, si Ma'am Lala Bacaranas, mga kaibigan, ang Senior Recruitment Manager ng Industrial Personnel and Management Services Incorporated o ang IPOPS. Sa pangalan po ni AJ Austria na aming Technical Director at ni Angel Atienza na aming Production Head. Ako yung lingkod, si Johnny Gomez Pansamantala. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
SOS, Serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang tatalakay sa kapangyarihan ng serbisyo sibil. SOS, Serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang hihimay sa kapangyarihan ng pamalang lokal. SOS, Serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Programang maglalapit sa pamalan at mamamayan. SOS, Serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Kikilos ang barangay para sa bayan, edukasyon, kalusugan, trapiko, basura at iba pa. SOS, Serbisyo, ora mismo, sigurado. Tatalakay sa mga problemang napapanahon, problemang hahanapan ng solusyon.